This is the Angels POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Angels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast, coming at you live, as always, after every single Angels game, right here live on the Locked On Angels YouTube channel and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever the heck you get the Locked On Angels audio podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area, spent 4 years covering UCLA sports with the Daily Bruin. Very excited for tomorrow night's season opener for my beloved UCLA Bruins. But spent 4 years covering UCLA football, men's and women's basketball over there. And now in year two with the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Our team is the Angels, and that is an unfortunate thing, especially as of late. The Angels fall once again 2-0. They're shut out in Houston, but they reach a new low. That's the big headline of the day. They reach a new low as the Halos have fallen 10 games below 500 for the first time this season. Of course, we were very familiar with that last year. The question coming into this year is what the record was going to look like, and we got fooled earlier in the season thinking maybe we were making an AL wildcard run. Well, no. Not only is that long gone, but the Angels are right back to being fifth in the AL West and right back to flirting with 80, 90 losses, right? So certainly more than 80, probably more than 90, right? Maybe even, 95 or something. But Angels lose 2-0. They're shut out in this ball game, and a couple frustrating things we will certainly get into. Some notable things as well. But before we do, shout out to everybody in here: Mark, Mahoko, Artie Sucks, Brian, Lance, David, Nathan, and a bunch of others. Appreciate you guys being in here on this Friday night. The patience as well. You can't tell, but I am wearing a collared shirt under this. I just raced home from a work event. So I was working, was listening and watching the game, and then came here. So shout out to all of you for the patience and for the patience you're showing this team after another loss. But with all that being said, let's jump into it. Let's not waste any time. And, do we start with America's favorite segment? I'm going to change it up today.
This is what you'll be talking about.
What the heck will I be talking about in this one? Sure, you could say there's a turning point because the Angels and Astros were all tied at 0 going into the bottom of the seventh inning. We'll tell you what happened there in a second, but let's be honest. Despite this being scoreless going into the seventh inning, this ball game could have had runs everywhere, specifically with the Astros, who out-hit the Angels 9-2. The Angels also add 2 errors in this ball game, but I actually want to talk about the pitching for the Angels in this one because we've been very critical of the rotation, have been very critical of the bullpen, have been questioning what the heck this bullpen is going to look like, right? And so Tyler Anderson certainly has received plenty of criticism, and rightfully so. He has not been good. The ERA well over 4.5. But the guy's 35 years old, and what's disappointing about this start, it is not the start, because the start was great. In case you missed the game, Tyler Anderson, 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 walks, but no earned runs, right? So, Gavin, what the heck do you mean it was disappointing? I'll tell you what's disappointing about this start for Tyler Anderson. It's that the 35-year-old with little to prove and little to earn in the rest of his career is having the best game of the night for this team. Is showing more effort and care and resilience than half of the guys on this team. So that's what's frustrating, right? This is a guy who's not been given a lot of run support this year. He's also not been good this year. But the guy's 35. He's had a decent career. Could very easily throw in the towel, right? Could very easily, we've got guys in this franchise, to say the least. Anthony Rendon, cough, 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 right? We've got guys on this team who have much more reason to have effort and don't show it, right? But for Tyler Anderson to come out here and do what he did, very impressive. He deserves credit. But more importantly, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed by the lack of effort, support, or run support, productivity, execution, whatever, focus from guys on this team, on this roster that have way more to prove, right? Way more to prove. Logan O'Hoppe with an error, you know how much he has to prove behind the plate. Christian Moore with an error. I get it. He's young. He's got a long career ahead of him. But still, concerning that, we know he's not an A-plus fielder, especially at this stage in his career, but he's a below-average fielder without a doubt right now, unfortunately. Those are two young guys that have plenty to prove, right? The fact that you look at the lineup and Christian Moore goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, Nico Cavadas 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts, Bryce T 0 for 2, O'Hoppe 0 for 4, Mike Trout, as much as I hate to admit it, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, right? Not that Mike Trout technically has stuff to prove. He's already had a legendary career. But the point is, we know the wins are going to be rare the rest of the year. We do. And I'm okay with that. As much as it sucks to say that, I'm okay with that, but there's a huge if. Huge if. If we see some encouraging things, right? It doesn't get any worse than 20-3. But 2-0 sucks if none of the young guys did anything. Right? Tyler Anderson's 35. I don't want him in the rotation next year. I don't think he'll be in any rotation in 2 years and 3 years and 4 years from now. So cool. Much respect to him. Great professional. Had a great performance when you didn't really expect it or need it from him. But that's not what I care about the rest of the year. I get it. Christian Moore's young. He's going to have bad games. And he certainly had one tonight. Nico Cavadas has proven it at this point. He's not a big league player, right? O'Hoppe's brutal. But kind of the irony of the situation the rest of the year is the same guys, I'm telling you, hey, I get it. If they have a bad game, you kind of have to expect it because they're young and learning. But at the same time, those are the guys that have the magnifying glass on the rest of the year. So I have to find this unique balance, right? This unique balance of saying, Christian Moore, you're the guy, arguably the number one guy on the team I want to see have a good game. But I also have to defend you when you struggle because you're young and a rookie, right? So it's frustrating because we don't need to really even root for wins anymore, and we certainly aren't getting them. But the thing I want to see most, I want to see great performances from Bryce T, from Nico Cavadas, from Christian Moore. I want to not see Ryan Zefferjon give up a run in the 8th inning. That's very important to give up or to not give up. I want to see Moncada prove he has a future. I want to see Joe Adell prove he can still be a superstar maybe. And unfortunately, outside of a Joe Adell hit, allowed out, a hit and a walk from Moncada, none of the guys I care about doing well for the future of this team, none of them did well. And that's frustrating. It really is. Really is. Nathan, you bring up a great point. He says, falling back to the mean, it's an awful run differential and closer to their expected win-loss. Right? Like, I hate to admit it, but this whole run the first half of the season was kind of it was a fluke, right? The run differential was minus a gajillion, and the team was 500 because we won every game by a run, and we lost a bunch of games by 3, 4, 5. We are regressing to the mean. We are what we proved to be, and it's the furthest thing from really competitive, and I've accepted that. I'm still wearing my hat with pride. I'm still wearing the jersey with pride, not because I'm hoping this team wins games the rest of the year, but because I want this team to eventually be good. Right? Want this team to be good. But when the young guys that we're looking for to play well right now so that they can mean something in a couple of years, when they're struggling right now, man, talk about rock bottom. And the 10 games below 500 tonight, combined with getting shut out, combined with just 2 hits, combined with nobody doing anything, it hurts. It really, really does. When we take our break, we're going to come back and actually say what happened in the 7th and 8th inning. Again, we'll talk about that run that Zephyr John gave up because obviously he's not the losing pitcher, but you can make the argument that the run he gave up, the inning he had in the 8th, was even more important and even more disappointing than what Luis Garcia did in the 7th. We'll do that after our break here on another losing edition of the Locked On Angels postcast. I'll be right back. Now, on this Friday night, today's show is brought to you once again by our new sponsor, Upside. What's going on, Locked On Angels postcast fans? Are you still paying full price for gas? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code SEASON and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true. I'm commuting to work right now. Sometimes I do the train, but a day like today, I drove and I use Upside, and I thought it was too good to be true, but no, it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon or other brands. So don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. Disclaimer, the offer varies by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. Today's show also brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. But that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, and get smart categorization of your spending. Finally, to feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. And as someone who touches spreadsheets all day at work, as someone who is certainly busy, having this as my second job/career, I have the Monarch Money app. I don't even have time to open it up on my laptop, but the app is great. And like I said, I just got a new job recently. They're telling me about 401ks and all this stuff. I'm paying for rent soon again, moving into a new apartment. Monarch Money makes it all doable. So don't let the financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use Locked On MLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Locked On MLB. Back here live on another losing edition of the Locked On Angels postcast. Angels shut out. This is a double rock bottom. The Angels shut out for, I believe, just the 8th time this season, and also for the first time this season, 10 games below 500. Just 2 hits for the Angels tonight. They had as many errors in the field as they did hits at the plate. Christian Javier, he's a solid pitcher. Is he a game-breaking pitcher? Maybe not. Maybe I'm being critical. He's great. He is great. 3.38 ERA right now. Certainly would be the best on the Angels, unfortunately. And he looked more than great tonight. 6 innings of no hit ball. No hit ball. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, but no hit ball for 6 innings. Only 85 pitches. They pulled them pretty early. De Los Santos comes in, shuts us down. Gives up 2 hits, but still shuts us down. Kimbrel shuts us down. Ort, inning and a third, 2 strikeouts. Shuts us down. Just 2 hits for the Angels. Again, Moncada had a double, and then Joe Adell with a base hit. The Angels were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They left 8 on base. They did walk 6 times. Let's not forget. And the Angels had opportunities, but they also didn't manage them well. And I'm not just talking about the players on the field. They also were not managed correctly. There were plenty of 1, 2, 3 innings. There really were, but there also was an opportunity. In the 7th inning, you have the Yohan Moncada double and the Joe Adell single right there, back to back, right when Christian Javier is pulled. First and second, and then it becomes first and third, A Hoppy flies out. We don't send Moncada It wasn't hit deep, so obviously you're not going to do that. Then Christian Moore strikes out. That really was a tough one to stomach because we know how much he struggled. At least hope for a sac fly for you or a productive ground out, to strike out swinging, to do it on just 4 pitches, to do it on 4 fastballs when he's basically giving you an opportunity to stick your bat out there and make contact. Not doing that, disappointing. And then Nico Cavadas, unfortunately, with a hard fly out to right field to end the inning. Some people wanted Christian Moore pinch hit for there. I think it's a valid argument, certainly. Obviously, the Angels then give up their first run of the ball game in the bottom of the 7th as there is a 1-out rally. Yordan Alvarez reaches on the error from Christian Moore, then Altuve singles, and then Carlos Correa hits in Yordan Alvarez, who should not have been on base. So Christian Moore struggles, does not have the sac fly, and then commits the error that costs a run. Very frustrating. Luis Garcia did get out of a jam, though. Got to give him his credit. That was not his fault. And then the 8th. The 8th was the painful inning because you have a walk from Luis Rengifo. He pinch hits for Bryce T. Would have loved him to pinch hit for Christian Moore there, some would say. I'm a little torn there, to be honest, because I do want Christian Moore to have that opportunity. But it's frustrating that he did not come through. Rengifo walks, steals second, back-to-back strikeouts from Meadow and Trout, who had another awful game. Trout did. But then back-to-back walks again. Ward, Moncada, bases juiced, 2 outs. Caleb Ort comes in, and Joe Adell just whiffs one win. He hit it 101 off the bat. He hit it 387. If he hits it 400, the Angels win the baseball game, but he didn't. And then the frustrating thing, the most frustrating thing maybe outside of Christian Moore tonight, was what Zephyr John did. Because for Zephyr John to come in what is still a 1-0 game, where the Houston Astros do not have a closer situation right now with no Josh Hader, if it's 1-0 going into the 9th, even this lifeless Angels team might have a shot. But when Zephyr John comes in, walks Cam Smith on 4 pitches, really none of them close, ridiculous, gives up a sac bunt, and then gives up a single, first and third with 1 out. The sac fly went 250 feet, but Taylor Noodle Arm Ward wasn't going to throw him out. 2-0 Astros, and then that's really all she wrote. A 1-2-3 inning from the Angels in the 9th. Do they go 1-2-3 if it's 1-0 instead of 2-0? I don't know. Ohapi Moore Cavadas is about as weak a 1-2-3 lineup order as you can have in the 9th, but still, if it's 1-0 and not 2-0, I want to give this team the benefit of the doubt. They at least get 1 base runner, still make it interesting. But once it became 2-0, once Zephyr John basically handed them the run, once Taylor Ward's lack of an arm handed them the sac fly, it felt over. It really did. And then that 9th was nothing. So Angels 62-72 now, firmly 5th in the AL West, firmly nothing really exciting going on with this team, unfortunately. We're going to beg for these young guys to show us something that we can be excited about the rest of the season, but we are officially now 134 games in, 28 left. And the question is, are the Angels going to finish with 65 wins, 70 wins in their next 28? If they could go 8-20, they'd at least go 7-90 or 70-92, which is still absolutely awful. But 8-20 feels like it might even be a stretch. So I'm asking this team to win 1 out of every 3 games. I don't know, guys. I really don't know. So with all that being said, we're going to wrap this one up. Shout out to everybody in here. I really appreciate you guys for being in here. And I hope you appreciate me as well. We're going to stick together. That's all we can do. Have a great rest of your Friday night. If you haven't already, check out the Locked On Rams squad shows that I've been doing. I had to miss this last one. First week of my new job, so things are a little bit crazy, but I'll be doing that. And then tomorrow, big time thing going on, the first ever Locked On UCLA postcast on the Locked On UCLA YouTube channel and audio podcast feed. That will be tomorrow night. Nathan says, go football. I agree. So tomorrow night, when the Bruins, knock on wood, open up the Nico Iamaleava era with a win over the Utah Utes, you can come to the Locked On UCLA YouTube channel after the game, and I'll be doing the postcast there. With that being said, now that I think about it, I do think that means I will not be Angels postcasting tomorrow. Let me check. I guess I maybe could. It would be a 7 p.m. show. So actually, I think I can. It'll be Angel show and then a UCLA show. So double show for me tomorrow. Maybe you guys can tune into both or at least one, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Friday night. Keep your heads up, guys.